Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Let's get started on week 38. I think I got everything. Perfect. I think we'll just do the same as last time. Four, five, six, 7, 8, and 10. That's good. Leaning back in my chair, I look out the window. Despite the bright sunlight. Oh, what in the name? Leaning back in my chair, I look out the window despite the bright sunlight. Okay. The mess of documents on my desk demands to be cleaned up and worked on, but I can't seem to focus. It's such a beautiful afternoon. The soft sound of someone rapping at the door snaps me to attention. I bolt upright and scramble to clean up the mess of papers on my desk as Sala enters the study. Lady Rosencruz? Sala, I'm sorry about the mess. She glances at me impassively. If I hadn't known her as long as I have, I might have missed the glint of surprise and amusement in her eyes. I cannot help the blood rushing to my cheeks. I feel like a child that's been caught by its parents. I'm sorry to disturb you. No, it's fine. What can I do for you, Sala? I'm here on Raphael's behalf. He's held up by the treasury business, but he wanted to inform you about a new request as soon as possible. My thanks to both of you. What kind of request is it? It's from Merchants Guild, from Miss Viola Belmont. She will be traveling again in 5 weeks and wants an item made. Although she has not specified. What kind of item? Oh. Her request asks for an item that can be mass-produced and sold as an Eskian specialty. That's rather vague. Vague is a bit of an understatement. It's especially difficult because I'm not Eskian. I don't suppose you have a suggestion, Sala. The homunculus lowers her gaze in contemplation for a moment before looking at me again. Perhaps a dish? Eskia may be a young country, but the people do have certain foods they've enjoyed since before the kingdom came to be. That's not a bad idea. Still, I'm not sure if Viola will have enough chefs in her traveling troupe. She could have the food prepared in advance, too. It would be possible to keep dishes fresh throughout the journey if she has magicians or alchemists with her. However, she may not. Perhaps some things that commonly used by the people instead. Commonly. Perhaps glass beads? Glass beads are commonly collected by Eskia's people. Perhaps you can give them a personal touch, such as emblems or of the royal houses or Eskin flowers. That's a great idea, Sala. They're easy to manufacture and enchant. I'm happy to be of help. Do you think it will be possible to deliver them in 5 weeks? Well, yeah. Hopefully. Actually. I guess we'll see. Yes, that should be more than enough time. I will let Raphael know so he can deliver your reply in that case. I nod and finally finish sorting the documents on my desk into well-ordered stacks. Will there be anything else? I may have another request. My ears perk up. It's rather unusual for Sala to ask anything of me. Feel free to speak. If I can help, I will. It's actually regarding Princess Ear. A few weeks ago, you delivered an enchanted soup to Master Kabir of the White Heart Tavern, correct? Ah, you've heard about that. I give Sala a nod of acknowledgement, and she continues placing a letter in front of me. Master Kabir has taken an interest in food enchantment ever since, and requests a recipe for something more complex like a noodle stew. It seems he's been testing out many things on his own, none of which worked as intended. Well, alchemy is hard to learn, especially without guidance. Otherwise, I wouldn't be teaching the princess. But I do want to share my knowledge with common folk. Sure. I probably shouldn't be accepting all of them, but I kind of want to. It is harmless knowledge in the first place, and the more things people can do for themselves, the more time I will have to use as I see fit. Alright, I could test out some things and give Master Kabir the recipe. Thank you, Lady Rosicruz. That will be everything. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Sala. With a graceful bow, Sala excuses herself from the room. There are few things more pleasing to the eye than craftsmen's hard at work. When the chief carpenter asked me for some enchanted wood to expand the library, I couldn't deny him. A corner of the room was covered in heavy cloth to shield the rest of the library from the sawdust. The carpenters and their apprentices worked to raise the impressive shelves. My enchanted wooden planks lie in a neat stack, shining from the various alchemical ointments I had the apprentices rub into the wood. I hope I said that correctly. Apparently, without my enchantments, the shelves would need to be made of much thicker wood to hold the weight of heavy tomes. The renovations came as a bit of a surprise to me, but it is a pleasant one. The need for more shelves meant they have acquired more books. Consequently, it results in new things to read. Ooh, that's exciting. After studying the carpenter's work for a while, the dust and the shouting became too much to endure, and I escaped, pushing through the white cloth to return to the quieter parts of the library. It is empty, largely due to the noise of the people at work. Running the corner, however, I find an unexpected company in the form of Prince Serin. Bent over open books and pieces of parchment spread out all over the round table. Serin looks focused, and the sound of carpenters shouting, though muted in the distance, must have masked my footsteps. He hasn't noticed me. I stop and watch him for a while, noting the slight crease on his forehead, the look of concentration. The table is covered in maps, charts, and various instruments used for measurement. His graceful fingers trace over the map as he quickly jolts down notes with a quill. When Serin looks up to grab for another parchment, he finally spots me. Good afternoon, Your Highness. Good afternoon, Lily. Returning my smile, Serin gently gestures me to come closer. I didn't think I would find anyone in the library today. Prince Serin glances in the direction of the noise with a sheepish smile and nods. It would rather be hypocritical of me to be bothered by something I ordered, I think. Ah, so it was you. I did wonder where the funds for the new books came from. Books are expensive, and choosing to invest in them is not a choice made lightly. Yet, if anyone would see the value in learning, it was Serin. Sliding into the chair opposite of Serin's, I eye the scrolls sprawling across half the table. Every of them are maps of Eskia. Some are small, others are big, old, and new parchment drawn on by different light hands. I frowned for a brief moment, unsure why Serin would be studying the geography of the kingdom when he already knows it like the back of his hand. Then I remember our encounter a few weeks ago at the temporary market, and the realization hits me. Are you considering the matter of the Eskian trade routes? I am, as always, in awe of your remarkable perception and intelligence, Lily. Serin sets down the quill in his hand, careful not to let any ink splatter onto the parchment he was writing on, and looks at me with a smile. After what the merchant mentioned that week, I looked more into the issue. It took a while to gather more information, but I think I know what has been affecting the merchant's travels during springtime. As a result, I am tentatively making plans for new trade routes leading into and out of Eskia. I see. I peer over the scattered notes that have yet to dry, changes to the roads, formulas calculating adjusted travel times, elevation, the time needed for completion, and small symbols I don't quite understand. Most impressive, Your Highness. Geography is clearly your strong suit. It's not mine. I am terrible at geography. However, what are those? Serin blinks in surprise, then follows my line of sight until he sees the small symbols he had drawn. Ah, yes, those. While studying the map, I remember the problem of beasts and bandits threatening the safety of the people. Serin reaches out to gently point a few of the symbols he has added. I thought it would be a good idea to build more watch posts throughout the kingdom and dispatch specially trained guards to look after them. Perhaps this would reduce the casualties and avoid unnecessary losses of lives. Leaning closer, I sweep my gaze across the map, which most watch posts appear to be concentrated in rural areas, and I nod with approval. It's clear that the prince had put quite a lot of thought into this, and I have no doubt that this project will be greatly beneficial to all of Eskia. Additionally, I will have the soldiers training young recruits in times of peace. I believe this would create more work opportunities, and the children, once they grow older, may join if they wish to. You have been worrying about everyone. Intelligent success! Yay! Though, Your Highness, I'm afraid there is another concern. Please do not be afraid to speak. This project would require thousands, if not tens of thousands of coins to be poured into it if it were to have any measure of success. As such, I'm afraid this proposal may be met with resistance by other nobles at court. Serin considers my words for a brief moment before nodding in agreement. You are most likely correct, Lily, and I am aware of this possible obstacle. However, this is still something I would like to establish once I am crowned. I shall find a way to see it through. Very admirable, Your Highness. You shall have my full support. I'm very glad to hear that. A huge smile. Just a smile. No huge. A smile tugs at Serin's lips, and his eyes seem to brighten just slightly. Just slightly. But one moment later, he frowns, tapping the sea chart. The land routes I am quite familiar with. Sea routes are the difficult ones. Perhaps I will need to question the merchants traveling them. These maps, sadly, don't help much. This one, for example. I glance at the sea chart he's pointing at. Hixunt Dracones? Here be dragons. I cannot help the chuckle escaping my lips, partially due to Serin's worried expression. He looks like he might believe dragons are lurking in the Eskian coastal waters. I saw no dragons on my way to the kingdom, Your Highness. That would have been quite the discovery. Due to my teasing tone, Serin averts his eyes with a slight flush coloring his cheeks, subtly returning to the subject. There are shallows, currents, winds, and tides, so many things I would need to find about it. Yet I have never as much as put a foot on a sea-going vessel. I see. I cannot say I've spent much time trading on the sea, but I have traveled by sea before. If my memory serves right, your hometown is located on an island. Yes, Your Highness. The High Council is stationed on Chimes? A mid-sized piece of land in the midst of an endless blue, with the ever-present sound of waves crashing against white cliffs. The spark of interest in Serin's eyes doesn't go unnoticed. Perhaps you could visit one day. I would even find time to show you around the island. We could visit more marks and embark on a little journey of taste. We never did get the chance to finish our quest that time after all. I flash him a cheerful wink, to which he responds with a chuckle that sounds half-hearted. The invitation sounds wonderful. Serin's smile turns bittersweet, and I can hear the but without him saying it. He can hardly spend an afternoon away from the palace. It's hard to imagine how an extended trip to my home island would fit in his agenda. How difficult it must have been for Serin to give up on his passions and dreams for the responsibilities brought by his birthright. The duties he never asked for, but had no choice but to spend his life fulfilling. I completely understand and expected it, yet for some reason, the thought stings, leaving a small ache within me that I can't quite describe. Perhaps sensing the change in my mood, Serin speaks up again. His gentle voice is so warm and soothing, it almost makes my heartache worse. Tell me about your journey. Tell me about the places you rested at, places of danger, what the weather was like. Of course, everything I remember. Feeling compelled to speak, I pull tales off the top of my head. Despite the inanity of my words, it seems like I have no problem holding his interest if the attentive way he continues peering into my eyes is any indication. Aww. Head sticking closer in order to be heard over the sound of the craftsman. We spend the afternoon plotting out journeys across the seas marked with "Here be dragons." Serin updated. Okay. Another week down. I hope you enjoyed. Please, if you like it, push the like thingy, and like it. No, I already said that. Subscribe and comment if you want. That'd be cool. Bye.